I've had this Shockwave for a little bit now, and I've driven it quite a few times, and it's got passable performance, but it's time to get a little more out of this. So I recently took a perfectly fine power system out of another project, and I'm going to put that in here. It's a 2750 kV Leopard motor, a 60 amp Hobby Wing brushless ESC to replace this 30 amp. I'm going to put a new receiver in here and make this a Spectrum vehicle, and I'm also going to change out the servo and put a little something in there stronger, a little something more reliable. I'm also going to put a few fittings around the body and dress her up a little bit. So first thing to do is pull everything out of here.
Team Baxter.
The first thing I'm going to do is put some pretty fittings on the outlet holes and the inlet holes on the rear. This one hole here is going to get a nice little Aero Marine fitting. Just a little nib for the silicone tubing to kind of grab. It slides in just that simply into the stock hole, and then it has a screw that screws on from the back, and then that tightens on. I'm going to use a little sealant around that, and that finishes that installation, and then the silicone tubing goes right on top of that. For the outlet hole, I've got something similar going on. It says another little outlet that just gets screwed in there, and there's another screw on the back. This also has a little rubber behind it that seats right down. These hold no purpose other than to pretty things up, make a tubing installation a little bit easier for me, so I'll put these on first so that I don't have to deal with that later. There's the rear fitting installed, and there's the side fitting, and now I can go ahead and start installing the electronics in. As you saw before, I had an empty chassis. I've already lubed the shaft again. These come with very little loose grease from the factory, so I've went in and lubed this shaft here with heavy marine grease, and now that's sitting in there and everything's ready to be connected to it. I'm putting in a 2750 Leopard motor, a 60 amp Hobby Wing ESC, a high-tech 645 MG servo, a little bit more reliable than the stock servo, and then I'll be tying it all up and getting it all together. Not much difference than a procedure I've done with the recent Blackjack video, so I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff in and explain how I've gotten it done. Again, I have a 1/8 shaft on that motor, so I'm going to go ahead and have to use a Robinson Racing reducer sleeve on that motor in order to get it to the right size for my collet coupler. So here's the Shockwave with the upgraded electronics. I've already gone ahead and tested it out. Still has that problem getting up on plane, but it's a much speedier vehicle overall. I bought an upgrade metal prop, and I used that right off the bat, and for some reason I'm suffering degraded performance with that metal prop. Not exactly sure why, but I'm gonna order a sharpened and balanced prop for this guy to help her get going a little better. You see, she moves pretty good. This is on 2S. Yeah, excuse my driving, I'm still getting used to the deep V's, but she performs a lot better. Just trying to get an optimal performance out of this guy.